As of October 2023, 65 countries worldwide have banned corporal punishment in all settings, including the home. In stark contrast, corporal punishment is legal in every state in America. This includes 17 states where corporal punishment is even legal in our schools. For many misinformed parents, corporal punishment is just part of raising a child. However, there is overwhelming evidence that the practice is associated with numerous negative outcomes in child development. Today, I will be discussing the problem of corporal punishment in our society. I was raised by parents who lived by the phrase, spare the rod, spoil the child. Given my history of trauma related to the practice, I am personally motivated to advocate against corporal punishment. Through my speech today, I hope to persuade you to advocate with me by speaking on the harm that corporal punishment causes to children, why corporal punishment persists in our cultures, and what we can do to move forward from this outdated and harmful practice. First, let's talk about why corporal punishment is a problem in the first place. The practice of corporal punishment negatively impacts a child's development. When in doubt, look at the brain scans. Assistant Professor of Applied Psychology at NYU, Jorge Cuartas et al. Published a study in child development in 2021. In this study, the researchers compared brain scans of children who were spanked and children who were not. The group who had experienced spanking showed atypical brain functioning, similar to what we see in victims of rape and more severe physical abuse. Being spanked is also linked to many negative outcomes later in life. Professor of Psychiatry, Community Health Science, and Research Chair at Manitoba University, Tracy O. Afifi et al. Published in Child and Abuse and Neglect their 2017 article. The article makes a case to designate spanking as an adverse childhood experience, or ACE. ACEs are childhood experiences which have a lasting impact on a person's health and well-being, especially impacting how that person responds to stress. These experiences can lead to problems later in life, like substance abuse, instability in relationships, and reduced academic performance. An executive editor of the Florida Law Review, Presley Pratt, published in 2024 the quote, "Young adults who self-reported experiencing corporal punishment in schools graduated with a lower high school GPA than their peers who had not experienced corporal punishment." Not all corporal punishment is created equal either. Children with pre-existing behavioral challenges are more likely to be spanked. Doctor of Medicine and researcher at the Arabian Gulf University, Abdul Rahman Al-Tura et al. Published in the Arab Gulf Journal of Scientific Research their 2021 study. The study compared the prevalence of corporal punishment among children with ADHD and neurotypical children. The researchers found that parents of children with ADHD were more than twice as likely to use corporal punishment on their children. Research hours have been poured into this topic for decades. The evidence clearly shows that corporal punishment has no place in a healthy childhood. So why is it even still a question? Now let's talk about why parents continue to use corporal punishment. Unfortunately, many parents choose to reject what the research says about corporal punishment. Now this may be in part because corporal punishment is very difficult to conclusively study. Assistant Professor of Applied Psychology at NYU, Jorge Cuartas, published in Child Psychiatry and Human Development a study on corporal punishment in 2023. He mentions in the study the concerns of biases and unobserved variables in studying corporal punishment as it occurs in the home. Factors like genetics, child temperament, caretaker mental health, and more unobserved variables are huge challenges in studying the effects of corporal punishment. Simply put, we cannot ethically allow our scientists to randomly assign children into hit and unhit groups to be effectively studied. However, this fact then begs the question, if we know that the practice is unethical in a lab, why do we still allow it in the home? To even further complicate this problem, the behaviors involved in corporal punishment can happen as a cycle. Associate Professor of Child Development at Zhejiang University, Shan Jiang et al. Found in their 2023 study, published in Current Psychology, that corporal punishment was not only a risk factor of externalizing problems in children, but also a common parent response to these problems. Externalizing problems in child development are a range of acting out behaviors that manifest as rule breaking, aggressive, and disruptive actions that the child directs towards their outward environment. Much of a child's learning is taken from example given by their caretakers. When a child is given examples of violence used as a problem solving technique, such as using corporal punishment on the child, can we really be surprised when that child then learns to take violent actions? So it's clear to see that corporal punishment is a problem. What can be done about it? What really makes things difficult here is that corporal punishment is a socio-cultural problem that's been reinforced by generations of parents. Child and adolescent psychiatrist Roberto Grudicic et al. Published in their 2023 study in European and Adolescent Psychiatry that despite preventive efforts, studies surprisingly show that up to 80% of parents worldwide still use corporal punishment on their children. A vast number of parents are ignorant of or choose to reject the fact that corporal punishment is not a healthy parenting practice. As long as corporal punishment remains socially acceptable, we will have a hard time putting it behind us. Thankfully, progress is being made by professionals in the field. Catherine Taylor, Associate Professor of Sociology at UCSB, et al., conducted a survey in 2017, published in Child Abuse and Neglect. The survey looked into the perceived norms and beliefs surrounding corporal punishment among the membership of the American Professional Society on the Abuse of Children. The APSAC is comprised of mental health professionals, child welfare specialists, and other professionals in the child maltreatment field. 84% of respondents agreed that corporal punishment is an ineffective disciplinary technique. These professionals also reported high levels of preparedness to advise parents on non-physical forms of child discipline. Professionals taking the survey reported being highly motivated to participate in activities designed to change the social norms surrounding corporal punishment. It will take time, but I am confident that the efforts being made to remove corporal punishment from our culture will prove effective. Today, we discussed the faceted topic of corporal punishment. I spoke on the harm that corporal punishment causes to children, some of the perpetuating factors that have helped corporal punishment persist despite its negative impact, and how society can move forward from this outdated and harmful practice. I hope that learning more about the facts of this issue has encouraged you to advocate against corporal punishment with me. Together, we can spare the rod and we can save the child.